Ready? Ready? Plenty of the gardening I do costs little or nothing. I propagate from friends' plants, I scrounge manure from local farms, and I make stacks of my own compost. But today I want to make a really special type of compost. It's called leaf mould, and it's made entirely out of fallen leaves. And let's face it, you can pick these up for free almost anywhere. The ones that fall under the trees, well, I leave them to rot and feed them. But anything that falls into a drain, I reckon it's fair game to make this amazingly valuable resource. There's lots of ways to make leaf mould. Some people stuff plastic bags full of leaves, poke a few holes in for air, and then put them in a shady place to break down. But I find the plastic breaks down too. But I prefer to use a more organic approach. This is just some wire that I picked up at the tip, and it's going to make the perfect cage to contain my leaves. To make leaf mould, you need a cool and shady spot. That unused space down the side of the house is ideal, or of course, a big shady tree. If your leaves aren't already wet, soak them down as you fill the cage. Don't be afraid to get in and squish them all down because you want to get as many leaves as you can in here. You can make leaf mould with any leaf, even eucalypts. Oak leaves are considered the best, but all leaves will break down eventually if they're damp. The only ones I don't use are plane tree leaves because I'm allergic to them. And anyway, they take ages. This really is the easiest compost you're ever going to make. All you need to do is come back and check on it every couple of weeks to make sure that it stays cool and moist. I'm just going to put a lid on it, which is going to help with that. Which is just some old palm fronds. And then all you need to do is leave them alone. This is what you get after a year. You can see that there is some coarse material still left on top, but when you dig down deep, you're left with this fantastic crumbly black, it's almost like soil, which is all the broken down leaves, and it's really useful in the garden. You can use it to improve your soil, of course, use it as a mulch, but one of the very best uses for it is to make your own potting mix, and I'm going to show you how. The first thing I'm going to make is a seed raising mix, which requires fine particles to make contact with the seed. So I put my leaf mould through a sieve. I'm also sieving a small quantity of worm castings. A lot of people ask about this when I use it on the show. It is my soil sieve. I've been meaning to make one, but I've been getting away with using this $10 sieve from the Asian grocers for a really long time, and it's so effective that recently I upgraded to the $20 jumbo model. Good seed raising mix provides both oxygen and moisture, which is why leaf mould is so good. It is like a sponge, so I start the mix with that. I'm going to use about 2 parts of the leaf mould, and then to that I'm going to add an equal quantity of sand. This is washed large particle sand, and that's going to make sure that the mix will drain freely and therefore there's lots of oxygen in it. To that I'm going to add just a small amount of worm castings, a small part, and then mix really thoroughly. And then because this leaf mould was made from oak leaves, which tend to be quite acidic as they break down, I'm going to add just a small amount of lime, and that'll lift the pH. This mix is great for raising seeds in lots of different containers. I've got some lettuce in punnets, I've got some larger seeds in single cells. But today I want to do something a little bit different. I'm going to grow multiple plants in these individual cells. I want to get an early start on a few spring crops. I'm planting turnips, spring onions and some beetroot because the ground is still too cold for them to go straight in. And instead of sowing individual seeds into each of these cells, I want to grow a small clump of plants, 3 or 4 in each. This is a bit of an experiment, but unlike some other root crops, these can be transplanted successfully from individual cells and grow together as a clump. When you harvest, they might be a little smaller, but you get 4 for the price of 1. Give them just a really light covering. One of the reasons leaf mould makes such a good seed raising mix is it's actually quite low in nutrients. It's just made out of leaves. The seeds have got what they need to germinate, but as soon as they're up and running, you need to start giving them a weak liquid feed, or of course get them out into the garden. Of course, that coarse material that we sieved out, it doesn't go to waste. This is perfect for making general purpose potting mixes. So you tinker with them. You've got to experiment and find the right fit for the plants you want to grow. But a good base mix is 2 parts of this coarse leaf mould mixed with 2 parts of something for drainage, so that's sand or perlite, add 1 part of compost, and of course some nutrients, some slow release fertiliser. You can get potting. All of that might seem like a little bit of effort, but I promise you, for about an hour's work, you can make a good part of a season's potting mix. And who doesn't need a bit of effort in their life in winter to warm them up? But there is one other benefit. By taking leaves out of drains, you're stopping them getting into waterways. But in your garden, they're a fantastic resource. So get raking.